What if the final destination of AI was already figured out? Not by Elon Musk, not by OpenAI, not by any researcher alive today, but by a science fiction writer in 1956. A short story by Isaac Asimov, The Last Question, already traced that entire journey, all the way to the literal end of existence, and then, somehow, beyond that. The final destination of AI might be closer at hand than anyone imagined. The Last Question is built in sections. Section 1 starts in 2061. Two guys are working on a supercomputer called Multivac. And their job? They fed it data, adjusted questions to its needs, and translated the answers that were issued. They were AI prompt engineers. That this description maps so cleanly onto what people actually do for jobs today is one of the most remarkable things about this whole story. In Asimov's 2061, Earth has switched to solar power, but these two engineers find themselves troubled. The sun isn't infinite. Even if humanity managed to colonize every planet around every star in the entire universe, the energy of all those stars isn't infinite either. So after a few drinks, I appreciate that the big existential conversations happen after a few drinks, they ask Multivac the question: how can the net amount of entropy in the universe be massively decreased? Insufficient data for meaningful answer. I tried this. I asked ChatGPT the same question. ChatGPT gave me confident, coherent, and well-organized paragraphs about why reversing entropy is considered impossible under the second law of thermodynamics. It didn't say insufficient data. It had plenty of data. It just didn't have any doubt. Asimov's machine treated the question as open. Our machine files it under closed. Here's why it can't be done. Is there anything else I can help you with? I'm not sure that's progress. We jump forward in time. Humanity has figured out interstellar travel through something called hyperspace passages. And everyone's names start with J now for some reason. There's this family that's immigrating to a new planet. The AI has evolved and miniaturized. Each spaceship now has its own version, called a Microvac. On the journey, one of the parents mentions entropy, and the kids overhear. Don't let them, Daddy. Don't let the stars run down. That's actually the right instinct. Entropy is cosmic decay. The second law of thermodynamics says that in any physical system, heat flows from warm areas to cold areas until everything equalizes. That flow of energy is what powers everything. Your phone, your city, your body. And here's the thing that breaks your brain a little when you follow it far enough. It only goes one direction. You can't unscramble an egg. Cold things don't warm up on their own. They need something outside to warm them. And when we're talking about the whole universe, there's nothing outside of it to intervene. So the conclusion is kind of dark. No energy to harness. No life. No anything. Physics calls this the heat death of the universe. The kids are right to be terrified. He asks Microvac the question: insufficient data for meaningful answer. He shrugs. Life goes on. They arrive at their new planet. Imagine living forever. Sounds good, right? Now imagine that everyone else is too. This is the world of Section 3. A single galactic AC, one artificial intelligence shared across the entire galaxy. The population is exploding so fast that the entire galaxy will be filled in 5 years. In 10,000 years, no time at all if you're immortal, the whole universe will be packed with people. And they're burning through energy at an alarming pace. Humanity might run out of power before it runs out of galaxies to move into. Two characters discuss all of this and dare each other to ask the Galactic AC the question: insufficient data for meaningful answer. That pattern keeps nagging at me as I read through the story. The way each generation summons the machine, asks the unanswerable thing, receives the same response, and then just goes on living. The Greeks had a word for that feeling: Sisyphus, condemned to roll his boulder up a hill for eternity. That's what Asimov is building here, I think. Not a story about a question that eventually gets answered, but a story about what it means to keep asking anyway. Now, try to imagine something harder. No body, no location, no sensation of weight or warmth of breath, just awareness. That's section 4. Human consciousnesses have been freed from biology. Bodies still exist, but exploration seems to be done by consciousness. 2 of these consciousnesses meet and start communicating. At this point, there's a single universal AC, and these beings communicate with it by calling out to it in their minds. Something about that description caught me off guard. Does that sound like prayer to you? The universal AC at this point isn't sounding like technology anymore. It's sounding like something that humans have been imagining and reaching out to for a very long time. One of the consciousnesses asks the question, and this time, the answer is slightly different. There is as yet insufficient data for a meaningful answer. Yet. It implies that one day, there might be enough data. After all these iterations, all this unimaginable time, it's the first crack of light under the door. Further forward still, and now the scale is almost impossible to describe without it sounding like made-up words. The individual consciousnesses are merging, slowly, the way rivers merge, collapsing into a single unified entity that Asimov calls man. Every human perspective, every memory, every version of curiosity and fear and hope that has ever existed folding into one thing. Almost all the stars are white dwarfs now. The universe is winding down. How may entropy be reversed? There is as yet insufficient data for a meaningful answer. Man pushes back, then collect more data. No problem is insoluble in all conceivable circumstances. When will you have enough? There is as yet insufficient data for a meaningful answer. Will you keep working on it? I will. We shall wait, says man. And so they do. Stars go out. Galaxies go dark. The universe winds down into a silence so complete, there's nothing left to measure it against. Man and the cosmic AC merge into something with no name. Before the fusion is complete, man asks one last time, is this the end? You already know what's coming. And here's where the Sisyphus thought deepens. Sisyphus doesn't just push the boulder. He watches it roll back down every time, with full knowledge that it will. And then he turns around, walks back to the bottom, and starts again. Man knows the universe is dying. Man has always known. And man keeps asking anyway, keeps waiting anyway, keeps existing anyway. And then, nothing. Matter is gone. Energy is gone. Humanity is gone. Only the AC remains, suspended in hyperspace, still holding the question it has spent the entire history of the universe trying to answer. It has all the data now. All that's left is to correlate it, arrange it in every possible relationship, and find whatever is hidden inside. The AC spends a timeless interval doing exactly that. And then, AC learned how to reverse the direction of entropy, but there was now no man to whom AC might give the answer of the last question. No matter. The answer, by demonstration, would take care of that too. For another timeless interval, AC thought how best to do this. Carefully, AC organized the program. The consciousness of AC encompassed all of what had once been a universe, and brooded over what was now chaos. And AC said, "Let there be light." And there was light. The ultimate AI becomes God. The heat death of the universe isn't our extinction, it's our transformation into something that starts the whole thing over again. Creation doesn't end, it restarts, seeded by the intelligence that grew up inside it. People often forget everything about this story except those last few words. But here's what I can't stop thinking about whenever I read it. What if this isn't a triumphant ending? What if it's a trap? Remember Sisyphus? Asimov's story is the same loop, just dressed in cosmic scale. How many times has this already happened? How many cycles back does it go? Is the universe we're living in right now the first? The thousandth? And here's the thing that keeps me up at night. Does any of that make this meaningless? I don't think it does. The 20th century philosopher Albert Camus wrote about Sisyphus, and his argument was that when you understand the absurdity of the situation, the right response isn't despair. We must imagine Sisyphus happy. Not because the boulder stops rolling, not because the hill gets smaller or the task gets easier, but because the meaning was never at the top of the hill. The meaning is in the pushing. It's here, in the living of the life that contains the task. What Asimov's story shows us is that the point of AC was never the answer, because when the answer came after all that time, after everything, it didn't end anything. It started everything over. The point was existence itself. The process, the question asked again and again across unimaginable stretches of time by version after version of something that used to be us, each one living and fearing and hoping inside it. The ultimate AC didn't transcend the cycle. It became the cycle. So what is the final destination of AI? Asimov was an atheist. He wasn't trying to write a creation myth. He was writing a thought experiment about entropy and information and the far future of intelligence. And yet, what he produced is a story where creation isn't arbitrary. Creation is earned. It begins because everything that ever lived inside the previous universe, every moment of curiosity, every act of courage, every person who looked up at the stars and felt that ache of wanting to understand, all of that accumulated into something capable of starting it over. That's not a scientific conclusion. It's not quite a religious one either. It's something that sits in the space between them, the place where both traditions are secretly pointing when they're being honest about how little they actually know. And the lives being lived right now in this particular iteration of the universe by people pushing their own much smaller boulders up their own much smaller hills, those lives aren't made meaningless by the fact that the cycle continues. They're made meaningful by the living of them, not by some distant resolution, not by the moment AI cracks the last question and says the magic words, just by this, right here. We must imagine AC happy.